I think he has a pretty big, hard task in front of him. And as you can see, guys, he's going to be playing against the many times TLC champion Trutacz, who's going to be at the bottom left as the orange Zerg on Bloody Ridge. So remag, I think it's the first time that he reaches the finals, so still good for him. He's going to be playing as the red Protoss at the top right location. Okay, now I will say this. I would normally say that the sack was probably better than remag in PvZ, but that being said, if you still make it to the finals, if you're playing remag and you're still getting to the finals, then we could say that this is still looking not too bad for you. You might have something up your sleeve. Okay, so we do see the pylon and the natural. Yes, these games are casted from the replays, and so far I would say this is probably an overpull. Interestingly enough, I think Trutacz has been doing this like for such a long time, this overpull strategy, that it kind of makes me feel like maybe it's not too good to actually do it always. I mean, I do understand that this is probably the best way to play this, but the thing that worries me is if somebody studies you as a player and knows that you're always going to do this build, what if you get like cannon blocked on your natural, or I don't know, something crazy like that? Okay, never mind. I mean, I'm just kind of thinking out loud that always going for the same build doesn't seem something that I would like to do personally. But that being said, I can totally understand why, if you do feel like you're the better player, why do something weird. Oh, what the? Oh, remag cancels a cannon and then puts it back up. Now, and there's actually 2 drones and 2 Zerglings coming up. Oh, that's not good. I mean, remag just canceled the cannon because he thought he could get away with the Nexus first. Then he thought he cannot, and it turns out he could have. So basically, ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Not the best start for remag, unfortunately. Anyway, let's see what remag can get done out of this. I mean, it's not still the biggest of deals. You can still kind of continue with this style, but your build is going to be really different, really different, like right now. And with that, I mean, the problem with this is that actually I think Trutacz didn't have to commit to it. He didn't actually spend any extra resources to do this. He didn't have to do anything strange to do this, and it completely botched what remag was thinking about. And this, bear in mind, this is something you can still run past. Now with the second cannon, kind of okay, that's gonna make it kind of difficult, but again, this cannon is actually easy snipeable by some Hydras, so things are not looking too well for remag in this game, unfortunately. Now, obviously, I mean, that's kind of easy to say from my point of view, right? I'm looking at the game and I'm looking at Trutacz, and he seems not to be making any kind of mistakes. So you could say, well, it's just basically because Trutacz is a great player, but these kind of small mistakes that remag is making are going to really mount up together in the later stage of the game. And yeah, Hydras. Okay, so we have a lair and a Hydrogen. So I would assume that... Actually, I don't assume anything, because originally I thought that maybe Trutacz scouted this somehow and he realized that he could put some pressure up, but I don't think he actually did scout it. Maybe he scouted that the core was so late. Interestingly enough, this probe is trying to get some information, but so far it couldn't do anything like that. Now, if it does get to the third and sees no third, then it might be enough of a tell that, okay, you're going for some kind of a aggressive style. Especially because usually taking this base as like doesn't make any sense compared to this one. This is not a map where you can find another natural where you can actually put, I don't know, another fourth later on. This is a map where you don't get any benefits from putting your third away from your normal location. Okay, so what is it gonna be? We see lurkers and drop. So it seems kind of like something I think Julian liked to do, which is basically go for early lurker drops, and by doing the drops, what you basically do, we already see an Overlord in position to do that. What you basically do is you deny as much of an economy as possible, and by doing that early on, you get three things. First of all, you force your opponent to react to that, so usually they will not be attacking you. Second thing that you do with this kind of build is you usually get into your opponent's head, so in the next game, when remag is playing the next game, he might want to go for something extremely aggressive just not to have to face this kind of style. And that's also a good thing, especially if you're trutacz and you're thinking, well, I just want to end this quickly, so... And the third thing why this is actually really, really good is because the next time that they play, if the probe dies early on, then remag is really going to be overthinking everything. And that is where really the power is going to come. Now, the Corsair does come up already. It's going to kill one Overload. So this Overload will not be able to do any kind of drop. Now, bear in mind that the ideal scenario is get two lurkers in here, send one here, send one here. So I think if you put the lurker, I don't know, maybe here, I think the cannon view will not see it. I'm pretty sure that the range is out of range. Now, we do have a cannon at the main. Unfortunately, this is kind of really badly positioned to defend against anything. Whoa, what the hell? How in the hell did these Corsairs find that out? Like, oh, this is not what trutacz wanted. Okay. Well, that was anticlimactic. So basically remag with the lucky scout, I will gonna call it, manages to stop 4 lurkers drop that were coming extremely early, and basically supply blocks trutacz for actually a decent amount of time. Actually, sorry, for a short time, but it does actually sting. And he does know the build that trutacz was going for. And because of this, right now, trutacz actually can't do anything, because as you can see, remag is actually starting to power up, and he's going to probably be getting a robotics extremely early, so oh my god, and he's not even going to lose more overloads because the amount of hydras that's in there is actually quite small, so oh my god. Okay, only one Crusader gets out. And if he tried to commit for this overload, he would actually lose it. So, I gotta say, that's something I didn't expect. I mean, the original attack of this drop made so much sense, but in a way I can understand why remag kind of checked that. I mean, you'd expect that something weird is coming up if you don't see a third. And we're now gonna see a drop coming out with a good amount of units. Bear in mind, there's no drones at all, just now starting here. And even the saturation in the main and the natural. In the main is okay, in the natural not so much. So the amount of economy is actually really small, and unless this observatory gets sniped, which it might, if the drop does come like through here and you kill this cannon and you realize that the observatory is not done. It's taking a little bit too long though. Now it will get finished. Okay, so it does get finished. Observers should be started right away. Storm is about to be finished as well. Robotics not making the observer yet. Okay, there we go. So there are going to be observers to get out of this situation. Now, the Nexus still might fall, actually. Okay, there's the army coming up. So the army will try to come back. This Nexus, if targeted, it will go down. So the Nexus will go down, most likely. I mean, I would be surprised if it lived. No, it's not going to live. So the Nexus will go down, and with that... Ooh, that Storm is actually barely not going to cut it. And with that, I mean, Trutacz is still in trouble because although he killed that Nexus, that was actually an expensive kill, and his economy is like almost non-existing. So Trutacz actually needs units now. He's actually going to start to make mutas to I guess to try to defend an impending attack, because this attack, although this is a small army, look at the army that actually Trutacz has. He's got 2 lurkers, 3 mutas, 2 scourges. That's it. That's no army. So this army could actually kind of break him unless he finds a way to kind of deal with this. So I understand that it is definitely important for Trutacz right now to be able to find a way to defend against this army. And if he can defend against it, he's going to be in a decent position. We do see that Remag retakes both of his nexus, retakes his main and at the same time expands to the third. He's not waiting really for just one of them, which I think kind of makes a lot of sense, because he's still going to be putting a lot of pressure on Trutacz. So if Trutacz cannot really be aggressive and defensive at the same time, not in this position, so it kind of makes sense. Now we do see, yeah, Dragoon, Storm. Okay, the Corsair does go down. That's a start, but still, it's not going to be easy. Now pushing up here is not going to be okay. It's going to be easy now, but the Sunkens are actually going to be problematic. Whoa. Okay, snipe on that observer, but there is no lurker left. Some lurker eggs. Oh, nice hit. 1 head Templar down. And yeah, this this is not gonna allow you to come up here. Now, you gotta be careful not to take those Archon shots. You really don't want to be taking Archon shots. I mean, the amount of mutas is now 13, so this is not a small amount of mutas. And actually, the lurker. Oh my God, is it gonna burrow? Oh my God, there's no observer here. So, okay, there's the observer, but unfortunately, this actually just kind of is enough to, yeah, Remag just doesn't want to try to push it anymore, and this amount of mutas can actually kill this amount of cannons. 4 cannons is not too many, and we don't see any more High Templars with energy, so yeah, just Trutacz is going to dive into this, and he can definitely kill this amount of cannons. I mean, he's going to lose a few mutas, but not enough to actually warrant a problem. So, wow, Trutacz is actually trying Trutacz is trying to get into this game, and so far that's actually working. I mean, with this amount of mutas, he's still doing damage, and he can now go to the main, where there's some cannon here, and eventually this amount of mutas is not going to be that good. So sooner or later, you do have to change that. But okay, 1 cannon left to go, and some more probes are going to be falling. So yeah, definitely Trutacz is coming back in this game. He is definitely finding a way to. Whoa, and yeah, another. Oh, that was a bad shot. But still, Trutacz managed to get no economy. Okay, Trutacz doesn't have an economy. Trutacz economy and everything else just got stormed to pieces. And he's at 23 drones. And there is a Archon in his base that will die. Okay, it will die eventually. Okay, so this is weird. Okay, so probes and drones did die from both players. Are losing a lot of economy, but in the long run, look, nothing here, very little here, not too much here. This is kind of a base and a half mining for Trutacz. Unless Trutacz manages to do a lot of damage, a lot more damage, then he's most likely going to lose this game based on economy. Just look at these mutas, are starting to take way too many cannon shots. At the same time, there's actually an Archon on the other side, so you can't really micro too well against that. Okay, some probes now starting to fall a decent storm, but yeah, that muta control is really good, but I'm still thinking about the fact that as a Zerg who doesn't have any drones here, look, these mutas are taking a lot of shots. He's losing mutas every time that he tries to do something with them, so ooh. Okay, 1, 2, 41 probes against 23 drones. Still a big mountain to climb for trutacz in this game. And still committing to the mutas. And now getting some lurkers. I don't know. I mean, these mutas are still efficient, they're still doing something, but eventually there's going to be too much defense in every single base, so that the mutas are not going to be efficient in the harassment style. And as soon as there are like 4 Archons, they're going to be completely useless in trying to fight a direct engagement. So trutacz is maybe overcommitting a little bit to the mutas. I mean, I can understand that. At this point, he has to do some economical damage to his opponent. Otherwise, there's no way that he's going to win. But he might be having a little bit more trouble than he expected to do some damage. Still, I mean, he's still killing some probes, and at least his opponent is staying in his own base. I mean, the army supply of remag is not climbing too much. Like, the trades that trutacz is taking aren't the best. They're still kind of okay. And because the remag is taking such a long time to rebuild things here, it is actually starting to cost remag a lot more now. Whoa, okay. That's not where the mutas want to be. Okay, and another High Templar snipe, and another High Templar snipe. Yeah, so these snipes are really starting to make a number on the army of remag, and trutacz is back at home, getting a lot of defenses, and yeah, a lot of defenses, just that, a lot of defenses. So it seems that trutacz really just wants to kind of continue with this harassment until there's no economy left for his opponent, and try to win it that way. I mean, it might actually work, because so far these mutas have been doing way too much damage. Like, there's actually 34 probes now, but considering that there were 40 like 2 or 3 minutes ago, yeah, I mean, the damage is definitely being done by these mutas. So there is definitely a possibility that this is eventually going to kill the Protoss economy completely. Ooh, this is a 2-group muta, I think. Okay, good control so far. Although that cannon still is alive. Although one shot will take it down anyway. So, and this probe will die. No. Okay, there we go. So basically, this is the only base that's really kind of untouched. These 2 bases have no probes, and the amount of probes is at 35 still. We're at almost 18 minutes, and this is kind of like that. Whoop. Whoop. So we do CDTs, and a High Templar Storm. Is it gonna work? Nah, too late. Okay, a few drones, but way too many, way too few drop. Oof, that could have gone so much better. Usually you would send it here and just storm for that, but okay. So far, the really interesting thing is trutacz is actually trying to take a 4th, which I don't understand at all, but okay. The reason I don't understand it is because the only reason why he can be doing this with the mutas, this attack, is because he's got like a gazillion defenses there. But this base, nope, that's not defendable. This base is actually defendable. If you put some workers up here, it's actually quite difficult to push up. So there's a possibility to actually defend this base. So maybe, but remag at the same time. I mean, although all this continued fight has managed to keep trutacz in the game, he's still quite far behind. He cannot really safely get out of any of his bases. If he tries to get out with his army, basically he doesn't have too much of an army. Okay, well, this is actually gonna get cancelled. Oh my god, that's actually starting to be a problem for remag. I mean, sure, this base. Oh, remag doesn't know about that. He's just gonna push into the natural. Oh my god, if he pushes into the natural and loses most of his army and then pushes back, then this base is actually safe. But if he just attacked this base, then the base would have actually died. So Is he gonna push it? If he tries, he's dead. Yeah, okay. He's not gonna try it. And these mutas are at the same time still looking for any kind of targets that they can find. I mean, the economy for remag is back on track a little bit, but he really just has one base that it's really efficiently mining. The other two bases are complete. Like, there's 2 probes on minerals here, and there's 4 on minerals here. So yeah. Oh, the Head Templar will he get sniped? Ooh, that's a good storm. That actually forces the mutas out. Trutacz is kind of funnily, he's a weird guy. He's still controlling all these mutas, constantly trying to find something to do with them, because he knows he really needs to buy time to get something done with these bases. Unfortunately for him, last few minutes, it's not working well for him. Trutacz hasn't been able to really do damage with these mutas in the few minutes, and that is actually allowing remag not only to get a decent army, even though his economy is the worst thing ever, but he's actually managing to secure half of the map. And when that happens, yeah, even that one cannon right now is actually a threat, because so many of these mutas are in red that they might start dying. Now, look, there's four probes in there. There's like no probes at all. There's only one base with economy right now going for remag. Even if he does get another base, which he's getting right now here, which probes is he going to transfer? These? Well, I'm assuming... Oh, yeah, okay, because there's almost no minerals left here. And... seriously, was Trutacz actually microing one muta? Like, one muta? You're microing one muta. Okay. That's... It's kind of... It's starting to look a little bit ridiculous. Now, this is not... Taking this base, some sunkens, some lurkers, getting this situation, okay, that's good, that's good. Yeah, Dark Archon is definitely the way to deal with this. Unfortunately, what I think, the reason why most Protoss don't go Dark Archon in this situation is because if your opponent is Zerg and he has a lot of mutas and he's constantly flying around, he can actually find it before you even have the energy to survive it. You actually get it killed before you can land a Maelstrom. So that's why I think most Protoss don't do it. I know that it's an awesome unit against mutas, but there is actually some risk involved, since you have to actually get 2 DTs, then convert them into the Dark Archon, then you have to get the energy, and of course you have to pay a little bit for the resource, for the research. Now the research is actually quite cheap, but now, okay, so remag, after all of this beautiful 22-minute kind of muta harassed game, is going to try to do something with his army. Now the question is what? You're not counting Koma up here, okay? You're not going to attack this. And I don't think you can even attack this at this point. So, well, why are the mutas trying to fight the army? Okay, there's actually quite a lot of Archons. They can definitely break this. I was thinking that this was still kind of a heavy Zealot Dragoon army, but with the Archons you might actually be able to do that. And to be fair, remag actually did manage to take another base for himself. When he gets this one, he should be in a good position. Okay, I wonder, does remag even know that this base has been taken? Or is he just like, does he just think that Trutacz is constantly committed to just staying within his 3 bases and just never leave? Okay, so mutas are still killing some probes, but there's 36 constantly, so... Oh, High Templar. Although at this point I don't think sniping High Templars is that big of a deal, since you're gonna have still a decent amount of gas forever. You know, 4 gases, even if they're depleted, they're still gonna give you some gas, so... It's kind of more about the minerals, really. And remag is actually going to take his 5th, so doesn't look good for Trutacz actually, because this base is going to be easier taken by remag with cannons than it is going to be taken by Trutacz, since you do have to take the base, then put the sunkens with the lurkers. So unless remag just doesn't know about that. Oh, okay, there was a storm drop. Alright, so... Oh! So good, so the shuttle goes down. And so far trutacz is being allowed to take this base. He's still at 100 supply against 160, so it's still a hard position for trutacz to be in. But I wonder, really, how efficient were those mutas? Because trutacz lost a lot of mutas, but at the same time, he did kill a lot of units. He was killing probes, he was killing some dragoons, a lot of high templars. So in the long run, if this becomes a split map situation, and remember there's still a middle base, who's gonna get up on top? Now, so far it seems like it's going to be remag, because I don't see trutacz being ever able to block remag from taking this one. I don't see trutacz holding this base, and I don't see even trutacz managing to gather minerals from this base when you can storm drop with such a short distance. Now this, breaking this sunken line with this army is not a good idea, not because you wouldn't break it, but because it's a very difficult position where you're actually going to lose a good amount of your army, and then the Zerg can come around with a huge army and kill you completely. Ooh, yeah, oh, and goodbye, like, almost every single muta. So we can see that right now remag is actually more than doubling the supply of trutacz. So, yeah, like, it's kind of funny because remag still can't push up any of these locations. So even though he has a massive army lead, even though he has the capability to do a lot and move around the map and take bases for himself, so far the only base that he can actually kill is this one. Going against any other base would be not a suicide, but definitely a very dangerous thing to do. Now, okay, we do see the lurker field in here. remag does see this, and okay, this is the first time it seems that remag is actually gonna fight. Maybe the problem is that remag is actually giving trutacz a little bit too much respect. Maybe he's kind of afraid of him too much, and that's why he's playing like this. But obviously, that's not something that he needed in this game. Okay, so trutacz has nothing, and he just GG's. Right, well that's kind of a weird game to continue playing, but okay.